Well, what a wonderful day it is if you live in fantasy dream booking land, and when you wake up in the morning, you get funny feelings deep down in your loins when thinking about sports entertainment, because we just had the first ever SmackDown on USA since the last time it was on USA, and WWE decided we got to come up with the big guns and a brand new team in WWE. It's Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, also known as the Car, because Cody and Roman. Now you can hear me talk about the whole show of SmackDown by clicking the boom card popped up there over on What Culture, but I mean, this is just so much fun, right? It's pretty damn entertaining. It's like Batman and Superman coming together. It's like the Joker and Thanos teaming up. I mean, we do this a lot in comics. It's like the Joker and Thanos because that's Marvel and DC, but you know what I'm getting at here. I think Superman and Batman is the best one to go with because they were both heroes, right? We've talked about this before in other videos. They were both heroes, and therefore when they did exist within the same sphere as each other, even though they knew there was a greater good or a greater evil about why they had to come together to sort of save the world, they always kind of looked at the other one because Batman doesn't trust Superman and Superman doesn't trust Batman, and they would fall out all the time. Now, it ties into the bigger conversation around Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes that even happened after last night, even though by and large everybody was excited, because people are like, oh man, Roman made Cody look bad and Cody made Roman look bad. But I think that's tremendous. They should be trying to make each other look bad, because whether you look at it within the world of kayfabe or in the world of reality, whatever the thing would be, in the world of kayfabe, Cody Rhodes wants to be the top guy and Roman Reigns wants to be the top guy. They both want to be the champion. Roman should be peeved off at Cody Rhodes because he beat him at WrestleMania 40, and Cody Rhodes should be peeved off at Roman Reigns because the bloodline made his life hell for well over a year. But then when you go behind the scenes, so to speak, Cody literally wants to be the top guy and Roman Reigns also literally wants to be the top guy. So I just think this is genius. I think it's fun. I think it's exciting. I mean, on Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show, which you can check out on all the apps, there's a channel. I'll make sure the link to the latest video is down there in the description too. We talked about what Cody Rhodes may or may not do at Bad Blood, and I just thought he'd have another random WWE title match, but instead, we brought the Bloodline back into focus, and WWE has clearly gone, well, we don't actually have to do a World Championship match right now. Dare I say it, him teaming with Roman Reigns may actually be bigger than whatever you could do with the WWE title. Now, I suppose there is a negative aspect to that too, because nothing should be bigger than the championship, but that's because WWE and all its fans are eating good right now, because I've talked about this before, but there is an element of truth to it. It's a lot like when WWE had The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. You have two guys that can prop up the company. You have two guys that can headline shows. I mean, WWE is drastically cutting back on live events, but they could main event either one and nobody would be upset about this. That's the dream scenario, hence why we haven't had it for basically 25 years. It is so rare for two people to come along that can lead the charge, make you a lot of money and sell tickets and sell merchandise and do all of this stuff. And actually, WWE has way more than two at the moment, because CM Punk can be put into that mix as well as others, but let's not go down that road. But I think it brings up a really interesting question. What do we do at Bad Blood? I kind of feel like Jacob for two and Solo Sikoa have to win, and it should be because Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes can't get on. Don't say they can't exist. I know this is my weird bugbear. I understand I'm a strange person, but if we take what coexist actually means, like the definition, it would mean when they were stood in the ring yesterday, one of them would have vanished into a paradox because they can't coexist. They can coexist. They can exist next to each other. I've seen it. I know. It's stupid. What's wrong with me? Somebody kicked me out of the window. Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa are going to fall out eventually, but we're not there yet. We haven't even teased it. In fact, at the end of SmackDown, Jacob was just looking at Solo like, I love you, had his hands together and stuff. Whereas Cody and Roman are never going to have that bond. At the moment, they are fighting because the Bloodline are running amok over SmackDown. But eventually, even if they were to be successful, Roman would want another title shot. I'm looking at it from a character motivational standpoint here. So that should drive everything that they do, and Cody Rhodes should not trust Roman Reigns. Why would you? Again, it's a family matter, and he could be like, okay, well, they've fallen out now, but maybe tomorrow they're going to be busted buds again, and that's why they should all collapse. And really, this is going to send people nuts, because again, he's only been beaten once in 1,316 days. I mean, more than that now, because that was months ago. Roman Reigns should be the guy to get pinned, because it is his family matter, right? Cody Rhodes is the champion. He's kind of just sticking his oar in here. Whereas if a Jacob for two pins Roman Reigns, this is what I would do, and again, I'm stupid, then when you get to WrestleMania 41 or whatever you want to do it, we know that's a big match, because at the end of the cage match, when Roman Reigns did make his big return, Roman looked at Jacob looked at Roman. It was made so clear that WWE understands where the money is. So if Jacob beats him now, and you can hold this off for 6 months, it's only going to grow, it's only going to build. That's what the Bloodline does. We've seen it since 2020. But I just think these are the kind of situations that maybe in the past we never ever would have got to. And I love the fact that here we are 6 months or so after WrestleMania, and we are getting to it, because why stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne, right? Bring it all in and do what could be quite a nuanced storyline if indeed that's the way you want to go with it. Because again, I go back to Batman versus Superman. Go and read the comics. Like, there's actually some real, don't worry about the movie. So many people can pick out the movie. The movie is stupid, and they get on the same page because their mother has the same kind of a name. In the comments, it's more like, well, I can't not team up with you because people are going to die. And there's real substance to that. And no one's going to die in WWE. If it's AEW, yes, somebody will get strangled with a plastic bag. But I hope they really do go with this. And the reason I have so much confidence in it is because Roman Reigns spoke on the first time on the mic since he has come back, and he was the same Roman Reigns. Doesn't care about you, doesn't care about me, doesn't care about anybody. It's family business, it's bloodline business. He's a tribal chief, don't need no necklace. He's going to go and sort stuff out. Showed no love to Cody, and Cody showed no love to him. And the only reason Cody did sign on after saying halfway through the show, I ain't going to do it, Nick Aldis, is because he realized his back's against the wall, but also he's a goody two-shoes, and I mean that in a positive way. And he would always fight the good fight, go down the right path, which is why I'm a bit worried we made big Cody Rhodes. I would not pin Cody Rhodes. I think Jacob Fatu pinning Roman Reigns is way more interesting here. And there can be some shenanigans, right? Cody can accidentally hurt Roman or whatever. We have to get to that, back to that match eventually. I never want them to be buddies for life. I don't want them to go and do like a cop movie together. I want to get to a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam in 2025 maybe and run it back. Maybe neither of them have the championship. And I think the secret source to this too, and there is a lot of rumors out there and I tend to believe them, is that The Rock is probably coming back soon. He can be mad that Roman is teaming with Cody. Eventually we can reveal that Solo Sikoa has been backed by The Rock and he brought in the Tongans and Jacob Fatu because the commentators have kept telling us, oh, they're so dangerous. We never thought they would be in WWE. And then you can start building to Roman versus The Rock and Rock versus Cody. It's really interesting. I need to know when they're going to do, you've got to do Rock versus Cody first because The Rock left yelling at Cody Rhodes. And I do think there's a way to do it at the Raw Rumble because that's going to be the first show in Netflix. I mean, not for America, but for the rest of the world. And I would imagine they want to do that a good number there. Well, they want to do a good number regardless. But then again, you want to do it at WrestleMania 41 because it's WrestleMania 41. And then there's the other argument. If you do Cody versus Rock at Mania, if SummerSlam is going to be 2 nights next year, The Rock is on the board. He's going to want to make sure that's super duper successful. So on night 2, which will be the Sunday, you could do Rock and Roman then. And also that kind of makes sense because when we get to 2026, which will be WrestleMania 42, that's another year. We don't know what Rock's schedule is going to be like. It's another year older for him. So if you can pull the trigger early, I would absolutely pull the trigger early. But when it comes to pro wrestling, sometimes there's no point waiting. Roman's been back a month or so, but now he's right back into it with Cody Rhodes, and they're forced to be a team. It's great. It's awesome. Of course, you can make a mess of this if you don't do it right. But I think WWE has proven over the last couple of years that it's unlikely that's going to happen, especially with people they consider as top stars. And I'm really excited about it. Like, that's a match that you could headline the show with. I think Drew versus Punk will headline, as they should. They've earned that in the Hell in a Cell. Also, how you're going to top it. But however this tag team match ends, we need some good old story juice, probably to build 2 Survivor Series where it's going to be war games, right? I would imagine it would probably be Cody and Roman still teaming together. Originally, I would have said Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso back together, but Jey Uso is so tied up with the IC stuff, I don't think that is going to happen. So we still have Hikuleo to come in from New Japan. Does he join Roman's side? Does he join, Bloodline 2.0? Because they already have 4 guys. Does Sami Zayn get drafted across? Kind of feels like he won't because he's got the Gunther stuff, but then again, that's November. Maybe he will be done. So there's loads you can do, and there's loads that would make sense because we planted those seeds from ages ago. There's other people you could recruit as well. But in terms of a SmackDown on a brand new television show and trying to get people interested, I thought the cage match between Cody and Solo Sikoa was great. It didn't have any jeopardy because no way was Solo Sikoa going to win on a random episode of SmackDown. But sometimes you can just sit down and enjoy the match for what it was. Cody Rhodes doing flipping cross bodies off the top of the cage, which is mad. You get the big Roman Reigns return. Everyone goes crazy, and you get it at the end of the show. So you finally got us to explain what OTC was. No one has ever actually told us. Everyone thought it must mean only Tribal Chief or original Tribal Chief. Finally, Roman said those words. Before that, it could have meant anything, right? It really could have done. But we've sorted that one out. And, the fans weren't put off by the fact he was the same old Roman. And it's really important that he wasn't, because he got to the part he is now by being the character he was before, why would he change tact? He hasn't done anything wrong. He just got screwed over by his family. He's not all going to suddenly be kissing babies and being friends with Cody Rhodes. That would suck, especially when you get to the Rock feud. We need this Roman Reigns. It's the good Roman Reigns. We've done suffering succotash Roman Reigns. We don't ever need to go back for it. So makes it very intriguing about what we do on the show next week. I do believe Roman Reigns has now been advertised for Survivor Series. So we've got him for at least 3 shows because we've got a Saudi Arabia show in November as well, which I do believe he's advertised for. I'd be surprised if he wasn't there. And this really did prop up the entirety of SmackDown. Like the rest of it kind of felt like a normal show. Like the Randy Orton Kevin Owens tag team match against A-Town Down Under was awesome because we had Ricky come out as we pretended that Randy Orton wasn't going to be here. And I will never be able to get over this segment because my timeline, and I'm not just saying this, I'm just passing you on a story, was inundated with people going, oh, Simon Miller. They were joking. A lot of it's Simon Miller from Wish. I can't remember his last name now, but he's quite a well-seasoned independent worker, so I'm sure he would never have seen that. It was specifically related to me, but a little bit, we should probably appreciate his achievements more. But yeah, Kevin Owens basically brings out, to use wrestling terminology, a random jobber, and then he stuns him as soon as he learns that Randy Orton is there. And Randy Orton and Kevin Owens ran through Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. There was no threat whatsoever, and I presume we've done that because next week they're going to break up. It has to be next week. Unless they're not going to break up and WWE's decided to do a 180, which would be crazy at this point. It's done, right? I actually think they are better together, and I think we probably could have sort of revised it a little bit because the tag team scene in WWE does need a little bit of a reset. But they're not going to do that. Break them up, make Austin Theory the babyface and see what happens. And then maybe they can have their first match at the Survivor Series, and then maybe they can do something at the Royal Rumble. But you don't want to go past next week, especially because they lost so easily here. Do an in-ring segment, just have Grayson Waller turn on him. It's been going on, I'm not going to say it's been going on way too long because I appreciate WWE's patience, but I think most of it can feel it in our tum-tums. Maybe we're past the peak, right? But it happens sometimes. I'd rather go past the peak than do it within a week because then you don't care because there's no emotion. The other surprise was the Michin versus Piper Niven match. I don't know whether the cage match went long, but Michin won in 2 minutes and she whipped Piper Niven's butt and she whipped Chelsea Green's butt. Now Chelsea got her heat back by hitting the Unprettier on a trash can, so I presume they'll do a street fight next week. But I did not see that coming, and it was so out of nowhere. I both loved it and I didn't hate it, not at all, but it was too quick. Although you needed it to be quick. It was such a strange segment. So I'm massively pumped for Michin. Finally, she's getting a push. Let's see if she's going to work. Will she sink? Will she swim? Got no problem with that whatsoever. But because it was rapid, I was like stunned. So, did this happen? Where did I go? What happened to my brain? So I need to see what's going to happen there. And Piper Niven kind of feels lost in the shuffle at the moment, which is absolutely nuts. Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes round 5 was awesome. The finish was great. Avalanche, the message. LA Knight comes out. We're doing that match next week. The fact it is so close, Carmelo Hayes is obviously going to interfere, and that will lead to a 3-way. I got no problem with LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade. I think it will be awesome. The only issue they have, which ties into what we've already talked about, is LA Knight needs to hold that title for a while because we're already sort of a few months removed, maybe even a year removed from when he should have got a championship, so you do need to keep it on him. This is different from some other people that have won titles recently where you kind of wanted quicker changes after all the record holds we had in 2023. LA Knight needs it for his character, but I'm never going to get mad at that. And we found out a tag team match for next week, which is Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton taking on Bayley and Naomi, and whoever gets the pin in terms of the good guy team, they will then become the number 1 contender. It's very convoluted. But if Nia or Tiffany pins one of them, that person has to leave SmackDown forever. Now I'm going to presume that either Naomi or Bayley will get the pin because Tiffany Stratton screws up, and then you continue to plant those seeds of tension between Nia and Tiffy, who is the Money in the Bank holder. And that's all fine. I like Naomi in this position, but once more, we probably could have built her up a bit more because she loses a lot and she kind of just stuck her raw in. And there was also a bit of a worry because Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton fell out with Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. I want proper tag teams. There's loads of proper tag teams that can go after the tag team championships. I worry about the women's tag team championships a lot. Although, to be honest, I worry about all the tag team championships. They're just not used that well. Like Finn Balor and JD McDonough are the Raw ones, and they barely do anything with it. And the Bloodline have the SmackDown ones. I think I sometimes forget. I understand they are so distracted with everything else going on. But those belts have just faded into the distance. And at one point, they were really cool. I mean, they main evented WrestleMania 39 with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. So was that 38? No, I think it was 39, whenever it was. I think we need to bring that back. And it was nice seeing all the legends as well. The more cynical side of me probably thinks WWE may be doing this to stop them going going to AEW, but I don't care. As long as people get paid, as long as people are happy, you can do whatever the flub you want. And yeah, it was a very sort of streamlined episode of SmackDown, although it did have an overrun, which never used to get on Fox. But the focus was clearly the Cody Rhodes match, the cage match, the bloodline, and bringing back Roman Reigns and underlining where we're going from here. And I'm totally cool with that. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. And it makes me want to tune in next week. And obviously Raw goes to 2 hours soon too. When you watch it here, a 2-hour show, and you think about all the stories Raw's trying to tell, it's going to be an interesting few months, but we don't have to worry about that until October. But yeah, exciting times. Bad Blood is a fascinating show because it is technically a B show, but the card is absolutely amazing. And that kind of ties in as well. WWE has clearly spent a lot of time over the last 18 months making these so-called B shows feel like A shows, probably because the A shows are about to become A+ shows. I mean, I think we saw that with the Survivor Series. Tickets were like $350 minimum, and WWE sold 15,000 on day one. So I understand it, man. But worth is worth, and clearly fans have decided they're happy to drop that kind of a cash. So why would WWE lower the prices when there's no need? There's a whole conversation in that. But business is booming, and it is because you have the likes of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns on top. And then Randy Orton just hanging around doing whatever the hell he wants to do. But it was fun, and it was easy to watch, which is my favorite thing about SmackDown. And again, I want to see what we do with Cody and Roman next week, because they're going to have to fall out eventually, because no wrestlers in WWE can coexist. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Drop me a comment below and let me know how wrong I am. As always, click the video on the screen for me chatting about more of wrestling. And again, go and search out for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show. You can find it on all podcast apps. You can find it on TikTok, Simon J. Miller. But there's also a channel. There'll be a description down there. But just search for Simon Miller's Pro Wrestling Show on YouTube. Otherwise, it is grillamine.com/Simon. Just go to Simon to get 10% off. Patreon.com/Simon316. Simon316 across all social media channels. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo for personalized videos. And Simon Miller at Pro Wrestling Tees. Get your brand new Wrestlers Commit Crimes t-shirt. Mostly because it made me laugh. But otherwise, as it is Saturday, have a great weekend. If it's Wednesday when you're watching this, have a good hump day. And I'll see you soon.